If you actually analyze the lyrics of most pop music songs, apart from the straight love ones, but the ones that go into the more mystical territory, they're talking complete and utter crap. I mean, you know that. And you ask the person, well, tell me, you know, your song called The Buddha's Stone of Love in Jehovah. What did you think this was about? And they go, well, it's kind of this emotion when I was sort of like, yeah. And they go, and you know, they get away with it because the music that they're making is so simplistically emotional that everyone just goes, oh, great, you know. I mean, it doesn't matter that it's crap because they feel good when they listen to it anyway. And so that's why we make the effort now to really let people know what is behind it.
An interview, especially an interview of this sort of presupposes that one can drop in at any particular moment in an artist's life and expect him to be really, really sort of eloquent. No, it's not true. I mean, you can't talk about these sort of things all the time. Well, perhaps Sleazy can. But there's no particular reason why an artist should be able to explain and sort of be
why he's got fish eggs on his head.
Very voluble about what he's doing, like 24 hours a day, especially when you've had no preparation and you've not even been asked questions.
I mean, I hadn't even revised.
I mean, I'm sure even Pablo Picasso, you know, sort of...
I haven't listened to Scatology since we did it.
Most of the time couldn't explain what on earth he was doing.
Can't
The ideal way to do an interview is to like ring up the interviewer and say, quick, come round, I'm feeling very eloquent. I can explain what I'm doing at this particular moment. If you don't get round within like 3/4 of an hour, you're going to miss it.
I'm feeling transcendent. I feel a poem coming now. Well, this is what they did though, isn't it?
Especially, particularly with poetry. I mean, poetry is a condensation of feeling, and any attempt to...
Did you have to care very much about your image?
Not really. I mean, to a certain extent, but I don't really give a shit because you get into the pop star thing, sort of can't go out, I haven't got my special black jeans on and my hipster belt and my snakeskin boots and things. You know, we don't care about that.
You can't help but make some sort of prejudgment about sort of seeing this person and sort of saying, well, they've got that sort of hairstyle, so the music must sound like that. And which is something that you do in life anyway. I mean, you see someone and you usually have an immediate impression about what they might be like, which may or may not be true, but I mean, I know that I've been in a record store, picked up a record which may have an interesting front cover, look at the back cover, see a bunch of fat hippies and go, well, this must be a load of garbage, you know.
People mystify you very much.
Well, I mean, to actually, you know, do something like this is like pretty much bearing your soul or taking away any sort of mystique, because I do like to proliferate a lot of false names and rumours, etc., just to decentralise the focus on some sort of rock personality or personality that you can put your finger on and sort of, you know, I don't think that's necessary at all, and I don't think it educates the music at all. You know, you can be aware of it, but, you know, I hate the whole image sort of shtick, really, and I don't think it's necessary or anything like that, you know, which isn't to say that I can't act like a total arsehole if I want to.
To come. Things the metal unsaid, like a pound of protection beats an ounce of lead. Full fun, there must be some kind of romance. Being dumb, find a belt full of bullets, fill your head full of dread. Float like a butterfly, sting like a mandarin. Tangle and 1 to 1. If you don't suit, you would better off dead, cause a pound of protection beats an ounce of lead. 5 fold fun, there must be some kind of romance being dumb, cause the blind lead 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 the blind. And then act for himself.
Well, the people listen to pop music for an easy way out, just for enjoyment of the most shallow and tedious type, really. The problem with Western music is, contemporary Western music, is that it offers nothing except shallow pleasure, petty enjoyment, and the promise of dancing the night away and drinking, fucking, picking people up, all completely pointless things to do. Western music used to have something important in it, if we look back at the classical composers, but even the classical music of the West now can't offer anything to people because it exists in its own sphere. It's a finished sort of music. The culture, by which I mean everything that matters, has been dead, and you only have to walk down the street and you watch the people walking along who are just, their shoulders are bowed with defeat. They realise that they're living completely meaningless lives and that there's nothing for them to look forward to. They kill themselves by the admission of their defeat, by refusing to explore, by refusing to question. They want the easy life, the easy option. They want to be left alone to carry on doing what they're doing, which is always nothing whatsoever. And I think it's easy to get sort of too perhaps arrogant about it and say, well, they should be doing this and they should be doing that. But I'm not saying that, therefore, if people want to get out of this problem, that they've got to do this, or they've got to do that, or this is the answer, that's the answer. Perhaps the only way out is if you actually go up to them and give them a good kicking and say, why don't you fucking wake up?
I think people expect, when they think it's a band, they expect automatically they can identify with the people on stage and look up to them and think they're good, you know, good people or something. But I think it's important that we manipulate these roles and that we're not always just the good guys, you know, that we take a role and really push people's understanding and make them think about the situation of a concert, how they're consuming this culture, how they're passive, how they're being dictated to. Because I think any performance by any group is part of a political structure, and it holds up the whole system. In other words, the whole industry and record companies and everything.
On the one hand, we'll do things which we hope directly inspire people. So we will work on themes that are very positive, and but always at the same time we like to show people what they're up against, because there's no point just inspiring people with hopeful rhetoric, with an inflated language. That means they walk away after that and find that nothing has changed, or that they still haven't faced up to what they're up against. Because without a doubt, certainly in Britain, the right wing still have the power. They have the power of all of the institutions, the people who hold the strings of democracy, the ones who operate behind the scenes. The power that is within them has not been challenged by the ideology of the left for a long time now in Britain. And so part of our process is understanding the effect that they are having and making people come to terms with it. And to do that, you must show the full weight of power that lies with the opposition. And so it would be irresponsible, as it is often on the news or in the media, to show that power but always to contain it. They never show the full effect of the way that the establishment operates, because things are very filtered within a democracy, particularly within Britain. The decision-making process is very hidden, and the actual effect of what is being done in the name of democracy it just slips through with a sugar coating. And so we try to, in taking the side of the opposition, we really try to show the true emotion, the true face of the establishment in action.
the new LP that I've just completed is a concept LP all about oppression and the various forms of oppression, trying to itemize them and, you know, as a result, you know, analyze them and see how it can be sort of escaped from. Starting off with a kind of personalized oppression, which one imposes upon oneself through various forms, which are sort of intangible a lot of the time, and it might be something physical, just because of your makeup, how you have to handle things, and thus oppressing yourself, to like the sort of oppression that an environment can impose upon you, which is also kind of intangible because you don't know whether you're succumbing to the environment or, you know, whether the environment is imposing that upon you, to a sort of the oppression that can be imposed through, you know, governmental restrictions or like, you know, being thrown in a concentration camp or something like that. Yeah. And trying to offer some sort of way out in the end as a positive statement, which is basically I can do any goddamn thing I want. And it's portrayed in a fairly willfully violent way, but as more as an expression which is a total reaction against all that oppression.
Put that soft white on the belly. Let him know who's right. It's a gonna taste the night. Double O, Pablo's yellow rock. When the chosen few arrive, no one gets out of here alive. Get the fear. Live forever with the children people. Live forever with the children you. Blast the past. Can't you feel it? Live forever with the children you. If you wanna get some kicks from me, I want 126. If you wanna get some kicks from me, I want 126. Out of control, I'm up the road. I'm gonna explode, gonna explode. I'm up the road. I'm gonna explode, gonna explode. I'm up the road. I'm gonna explode, gonna explode. Out of control, I'm up the road. Gonna explode, gonna explode. Gonna explode, gonna explode. Gonna explode, gonna explode. Yeah, 126. Yeah, 126. Yeah, 126. Yeah, 126. I'm God. I'm Jesus. I'm Satan. I'm God. I'm Jesus. I'm Satan. Death the pigs. Adios. See you later.
We're also not interested in just a form of escapism like most entertainment, because I mean, this in a way is the most effective form of propaganda. Is escapism, entertainment, which allows people to completely forget their problems. I think it's a more effective way to achieve a positive feeling if you can work through the worst realization of what is oppressing you, and then come through that on the other side. Then you've really moved forward.
if you're genuinely going to try and change people or make them, you know, face up to something, which is quite an awkward thing to try and do anyway, there has to be that area of confusion where you break the mold of the past and look for a new pattern. And that confusion is part of the process. If it was on a plate, if it was just like, well, this is good, this is bad, you believe in this, you don't believe in that. I mean, so fucking what? You know, you might as well go and read a book on,
Noddy. We ignore most contemporary sources and go back to like the surrealists, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, what they were dealing with was the subconscious on the personal level and expanding it and just plummeting the depths of it. And that's just a very simple act which takes a huge amount of effort and has amazing consequences if you can do it. You know, it's just sort of unleashing something. People don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what we're aiming for in some respects. Yeah.
And people seem to think it's sort of egotistical and introverted to take such an extensive interest in your own mental workings and capacities. I don't think that's true at all. I think it's more of an arrogance to believe that you could ever understand someone else.
Anybody else's.
Yeah, I mean...
You know, I don't know my own particularly. I want to know more about it. You can never really know what other people are doing. This is why we keep dream diaries and things. Like I kept a diary of all my dreams of every night for the last 5 years. You know, I'm not quite sure yet what purpose it serves, but it's a unique record as far as I'm concerned.
If only as a source of imagery as well, I mean,
Yeah.
Yes.
for writing. I mean,
You couldn't even say that you got to know yourself better through it because it churns up such strange things, you know, you just can't make sense of it.
Yes.
That's what I like. We sort of utilise the chaos, but we propagate and generate chaos. Not in a sort of punk anarchy way, but mental chaos. So we were saying before, we believed that states of delirium and sort of self-induced madness, whether it be from LSD or schizophrenia, which you know, invoke and make worse. And I actually believe that you can strengthen yourself through those things, like putting yourself through it.
Yeah.
Next on stage, gentlemen, here's Joey.
If anyone wanted to look for a message in our music, you know, an overall sort of thing, it would be that you just have to go through your individual visions, whether they be Hitler or Bosch, you know, Bruegel or something. Because it's only by ploughing into yourself, I think, that you can get anything worthwhile.
Yeah.
Turning away from outside influences.
Yeah.
You spend so much energy shutting out and filtering everything, you know, records and TV and that.
Spend days.
So I just can't listen to the radio. I makes me feel physically ill.
The truly powerful musics of the world don't have to offer anything. They don't have to offer imagery, ideas. They just have to exist. They have to put forward the sound that they make, and that is enough in itself. They don't have to go on and on about how strange they are, how weird this is, how progressive they are, how different they are, investigating things which have never been told of before. But the West doesn't realise that there's a whole culture that was thousands of years old when we were still running around with mud on our faces. And we look at these cultures and sneer at them, but they have everything to offer, and we've got nothing left except the corpses of an entire civilization. It's all completely over, and there's just nothing left for them. And the sooner people realise that, come to terms with the fact that the civilization is dead, the sooner they'll be able to get out of it and start building something up and learning from other people and building something new and fresh. But as long as people are crippled by the illusion that they're part of something important, something which has died a long time ago, there's just no hope for them. But they're the only people that can do anything about it.
Yeah. But that's why you were leaving for India end of this summer.
Yeah, basically I was born in Asia anyway, and having lived in England and a couple of other places in Europe, although it's pleasant and easy, there's no challenge, and I think that the closer you are to corruption, the quicker you get corrupted yourself. So by living in a culture which is morally and spiritually corrupt, you start to come like that yourself. You know, you catch the disease very easier, and it becomes very easy to sit back.
Yeah,
so, I mean, for me, that's what I'm going to do. I go to India to study Tibetan language and Tibetan religion, Tibetan medicine. But obviously, it's not saying that this is what everybody should do. It's just, it's just my personal way of running away from it. Because fuck knows, I can't take it anymore.
Tibet is going to India.
Is he going to go and meditate on a mountain?
Well, I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think I'd find better atmosphere in a different culture, necessarily. I'd rather mold the culture that I've got around me and mirror it.
Either, I think, fight against it or leave. And he decides to leave. So you decide to stay.
I'm more into like molding an environment which is around me, or analysing it and see what's bad about it. I don't think you have to be restricted to any one city or any one form. Basically, you're the master of your own destiny, but I don't choose to like take a brand new cultural input like something as drastic as going to India or something. because I like the trash culture of the West.
Yeah.
I embrace that as well. I think it's great, and I think that's what's so great about America, because it acknowledges that. Yeah, it acknowledges pure glorification of trash, and uses that as a starting point culturally, saying okay, we love trash. So what are the alternatives from there? And a lot of people are sort of mirroring it. Where in a place like England, they have some sort of pretension that their culture isn't trash when it is total trash, and so that's totally pretentious. If you sort of watch like a really populist medium like TV, I think the quality in America is much better, just because they embrace trash so much, and that it's an art form. Whereas in England, they have some sort of pretension as if they're not making trash, which they are. I mean, which makes it all the more trashy than America.
Get the scum out of my hands. I can't get it out of my soul. I can't get the thing off my brain. I can't get this box off my head. Ow! I can't get the scum out of my hands. I can't get the scum out of my soul. I can't get this thing off my brain. I can't get this box off my head.
Well, this is the only tour that I've ever done, and what I'm sort of observing at the moment is that the whole Foetus phenomenon is almost becoming like, not so much self-parody, but I'm very aware of the rock elements in it, and I'm embracing that at the moment, and the greatest manifestation of that is to do a tour. Once I've done that, I don't feel the need to repeat myself and do another tour or carry on going album tour, or anything like that, It's, I want to make a definitive statement once I've made it. What do? Make another definitive statement, I guess. But I don't want to repeat myself. I mean, how many rock LPs does the world need?
It's difficult to maintain a separate identity.
Some freshness.
Yeah, I mean, we admit it. We're not saying that we're unique and special and we have, this amazing talent and everyone else should listen, because we're not saying that at all. We, in a sense, we're being tarred by our own brush in this condemnation, but, I'd rather have that and have the ability and have the time to work in isolation, Get on with what we really believe in. the first time we've stood in front of a video camera and said these things. We've had numerous opportunities to play huge festivals in Holland and in America. We've been offered to play the Palladium, which is like the biggest nightclub there at the moment. We just say no. We get this perverse pleasure in turning these things down in a way. But we don't want to dilute what we think we have by sort of either compromising it in a live situation or becoming just another little marker in the marketplace, you know.
If you don't play the game, if you don't play the accepted rules of marketing and of production of material and of the right connections with the press, if you try to make your own system, which we do, outside of all the disciplines, in other words, we're not just a pop band, we're not a modern classical band, we're not, a totally anarchist band, we're not just producing films which can be screened in a cinema. We're not just working with playwrights who can write a conventional play to go in a West End theatre. We're outside of all these places. We don't fit in any of their rules. And they can't, it's very difficult for them to have the commitment or the courage or even the desire to break their accepted structures of partitioning all these different areas. So we create problems for ourselves in this way, and it takes, we have to just keep trying.
Okay, just one simple question. Why did you come back from India?
Well, having got so pissed off with the West, I decided to go and find my true will man in India and Nepal. And when I got there, having been there before, I realised how much things had changed, and the place was just crawling with hippies, crawling with Western and Eastern hippies, the Western, of course, being by far the worst, and fake gurus, lamas, whose only interest seemed to be in conning as much money out of people as possible. Their main point of interest in this world seemed to be what sort of watch you had on. And the fact that most of the Buddhist monks I met, the young ones, all seemed to have guitars and play Jimi Hendrix all the time. I thought this is obviously not the place to be.